All right. Well, we are going to be playing us some Blades in the Dark today. Every time I say it, Lori in the background will say Blades in the Dark. Um,
Get it
so
wrong, like
I don't remember who all I've told the kind of setup to, but give a little world information first. The cataclysm happened about 1,000 years ago, which extinguished the sun and shattered the gates of the dead. So it's always in perpetual kind of darkness, and in the dawn it's a little bit amber, and in at dusk it's a little bit of a violet hue. But for the most part, it's just dark and overcast nearly all the time. Um, Also said the gates of the dead were smashed a long time ago, and ghosts are kind of a big deal in this society because when you die, your body doesn't move on to the spirit world like it used to. So it'll hang around in your body for a few days until it can kind of form itself, and ghosts will seek vengeance. That's kind of their main shtick. And if you don't if they don't constantly feed on people, then they'll eventually go mad, and they'll just be these just insane gibbering clouds of mist that roam the countryside. And so, um, used to, magic would keep these kind of all the ghosts that are kind of wandering outside of the cities at bay. But magic started fading, and they had to fall back on technology, and that is accomplished by a bunch of sailors running out in these huge leviathan hunting ships, where they haul up these ancient gods that swim the ink black seas, and chop off bits and render their flesh for their blood, and they then take that leviathan blood and refine it into electroplasm, and that powers the city's all of its kind of steampunky type electronics. And the main thing that it powers are these huge fences that ring the city, that keep the ghosts at bay. So now that magic has failed, we have another solution: technology. Yay! Let's see. Oh, another thing about the sea is there are distant constellations different than the ones above the in the sky, and that's enough to drive some sailors mad, because most of the time your boat's just kind of floating in this ink black sea that has these stars beneath it and these stars above it, and there's just no like point of reference anywhere if the waters are really calm. So it just feels like you're floating in space. Um, and we are going to be in the city of Duskwall, also known as Duskwall. And since the cataclysm, people have kind of expanded to the limits of the city. Everything's kind of bulging at the seams as far as everything is owned. So anytime you want to take something, somebody else already has a claim to it. We're going to be playing some scoundrels that are part of a crew of shadows. There's multiple different crew types, but for this one shot, we're going to be shadows at least. I think there's crews for being a cult, for being smugglers, bravos, assassins, all kinds of fun stuff. But shadows are kind of the default, thieves and rogues and scoundrels that go around robbing and stealing and spying and doing those sorts of things. Let's see here. I think that's enough info dump for kind of the world. I'll tell you a little bit about the situation in Duskwall itself. So if you open up, real quick, if you open up Shattered Isles, I can show this to players. Bam. these are the different main countries, and Duskwall is that city that's up in the north middle of Akaros. And that's just where we're at. Let's see. So Duskwall.
So these are all islands, sort of in this ink black sea.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And there's electroplasmic trains that run that connects the cities to each other. Traveling by boat is mostly safe from ghosts, but not so much from leviathans. But there's still probably the safest way to travel is by train. And there's an elite group of people called railjacks that help guard the trains and kind of go exploring out in the wasteland every so often. And we are in Duskwall. Bloop. So, kind of the situation that we're in. You guys are a newfound crew of scoundrels. I don't know who's going to be the leader or if there is a leader, but basically you've all decided to come together. You're tired of getting stepped on and doing tons of work for very little pay, and so you're going to take the easy life of being crooks. You're going to start robbing and taking from other people because you're tired of being taken from. We are in Crowsfoot, which is the district kind of in the middle of the town. And right now the situation in Crowsfoot, there were three main gangs that kind of owned everything in the area. The Crows were up at the top, and everybody kind of pays up to them. And there were two other gangs, the Lampblacks and the Red Sashes. And there was a tentative peace for a long time, last several years, and the head of the Crows were Rourke. He kind of kept the peace. Recently, he's been murdered. A lot of people are saying it's his second in command, Lisa, that did it, and so now the Lampblacks and the Red Sashes are going to war. So the Lampblacks used to be originally they were coal miners, but electroplasm kind of displaced that industry, and there's still some use for coal, but most everything else uses clean electroplasm. And so they threw off the shackles of being miners and became a gang, and eventually rose up the ranks to be a decent force here in Crowsfoot. Let's see, what else? The Red Sashes are a bunch of Aruvians. That's another nation that's kind of nearby. Think Egyptian, Indian, Middle Eastern kind of, Persian, and they've been in the city for a long time, and so pretty much all three of those gangs are recruiting people to for the upcoming war, and so that's the situation we're in. Not sure what else I need to tell you. Are there any questions about the setting or anything like that?
Not about the setting, nope.
Yeah, I don't think about the setting. As far as the setup, would our characters be from one of these gangs, or are they more just affiliate factions that exist within the city?
I don't think you'd be from one of the gangs itself. If you were, you'd probably stay there.
Right.
This is, but you're not necessarily precluded from being one of those gangs, but you would be leaving that gang to start your own and start taking stuff from either them or their enemies.
Gotcha.
So yeah. And there's all kinds of crazy different factions in the city. Lots of different people to make friends with and piss off.
Sounds good.
Cool. So let me. Before we make characters, there was one thing I wanted to do. Let me look this up real quick. Just wanted to read kind of the player best practices. Embrace the scoundrel's life. Let's see, how much detail do I want to go into each one of these? Actually, I think I'm going to pass on that for now, and we're going to go straight to character creation. So I know a couple of people had some ideas for something they wanted to play. I've made a separate character sheet for each playbook, which is kind of similar to a class. And Kent, why don't you start us off, since you said you were kind of looking for the whisper?
Uh-oh. Yes, I'm looking for the whisper. So I opened the character sheet. I did it.
You did it. Yay. Thanks, baby. Let me go through. That was to Lori, not to Kent.
Oh, I think we all knew who that was to.
I knew it was to me. It's nice that you covered. So. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to go Tempest for my special ability.
That's cool. Why don't you read Tempest so other people kind of know what it does?
You can push yourself to do one of the following. Unleash a stroke of lightning as a weapon. Summon a storm in your immediate vicinity. Torrential rain, roaring winds, heavy fog, chilling frost, or snow, etc.
Cool.
Very
So whispers are good at magical stuff and dealing with ghosts. Play a whisper if you want to meddle with arcane powers, and it sounds like that's what Kent wants to do. Alright, making a character is really pretty easy. Let me open up the whisper so I can kind of follow along here. So, a name is kind of what your real name is. Alias is your street name. Your look is just a short sentence of a few different words that describe how how someone sees you. Your name is Bilbo, alias the Hobbit. Yeah. That's not gonna work for me. But anyway.
What?
So choose a heritage. There's
You can't be Bilbo. If he puts this on YouTube, it'll get copyright takedown in a heartbeat.
Gotta look at the bigger picture here.
Yeah, Kent.
I'm thinking about Q2 numbers, all right?
Q2 numbers for my threes of viewers.
For your one shot.
So Akaros is kind of the largest country and most industrialized, and that's where Duskwall is. So if you from Arkaros, then you're just kind of a homebody here. Picture Imperial Europe back in the Industrial Revolution days.
Right.
All right, I'll just read a little bit of this. If you want to be a rootless wanderer, you could be from the Dagger Isles. People there often grow up on ships and travel a lot before settling down. They're known as corsairs and merchants who live without lightning barriers, dealing with spirits in other ways. If you want to be from a culture considered foreign by the locals, you could be from Eruvia, a rich and powerful desert kingdom far to the north, or far to the south. It's another diverse land of varying cultures, similar to Old Persia, Egypt, and India. If you want to be from a place considered wild by the rest of the empire, you could be from Severos. Outside the few imperial settlements, most Severosi live in nomadic horse tribes scattered across the blasted Deathland, surviving within the ruins of ancient arcane fortresses which still repel spirits. So they have some fortresses where the magic hasn't quite worn out yet. And let's see. If you want to be from a marginalized people, you could be from Skovlan. The island kingdom just across the sea from Duskwall, Skovlin was last to be brought under Imperial rule over the course of the 36-year Unity War, which ended only a few years ago. So there's many Skovlander refugees who lost their homes and jobs in the destruction of the war, and they've come to Duskwall seeking new opportunities. If you want to be weird, you can be from Tycheros. It's a semi-mythical place, far away beyond the northern Void Sea. Everyone says that the people there are part demon. If you choose Tycherosi heritage, also create a demonic telltale like black shark eyes, feathers instead of hair, etc. that marks your character. So it's a little bit like tieflings, I would say, from D&D. Ooh, dinner. So choose a heritage and pretty much circle one of those, or there you go. Looks like we got a Tycheros in the group. And if other people have an idea of what they're wanting to do with their characters, they can go ahead and do that. We don't have to do this 3 separate times. We can all do it at once. So Andrew, did you have any chance at all to look at any of the playbooks?
I did, actually, and I kind of started building someone as soon as we all sat down.
Sweet.
With a Skovlin refugee for the concept, and I picked the lurk that I mentioned. I wanted someone that's kind of more pickpockety, less, overtly criminal, and more just like, hey, how's it going? Good, that's a great coat. By the way, I'll see you guys later. And then when I walk away, you're missing everything you had in your pockets.
Nice.
Cool. The vice I chose was luxury, because going to the refugee concept, former nobleman misses the nice life.
Nice. So fine wines, hot baths,
yes,
things of that nature.
the nicer things in life. Mm-hmm. And for the special, I took infiltrator.
Ooh, what's that one do?
You are not affected by quality or tier when you bypass security measures.
Heck yeah. So pretty much, even if you were breaking into a tier 4 gang's place, normally that would be 0 effect for someone coming at it from a tier 0 gang like you guys. But that doesn't affect you, so that's cool.
I laugh at your concept of security.
You're a master rogue. All right. So then we choose a background: academic, labor, law, trade, military, noble, or underworld. This is kind of what you grew up doing. If anybody needs any more understanding about that, just let me know and I can read some things.
So I think I am also probably going to be Skovlin. Is that what they were called?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm also going to be a refugee. My character is going to have the labor background. So I think he's more of a get your hands dirty. I was looking at the Leech as a playbook with a focus on Tinker and Wreck. So I think
Cool.
He's good at putting things together and taking them back apart again.
Nice.
And for his vice, I wanted to go with gambling. And I think that I was looking through some of the materials and it mentioned something about dog racing. So maybe he likes to go to the racetracks.
Mm-hmm.
And is now having to pull jobs because he's either indebted or
just
had... But I also was thinking maybe he would have a focus on some social skills like consort and sway.
Cool.
And it sounds like there might be some crossover there with Andrew's character, but I think, if they're both refugees from Skovlin and his guy's like a noble, well-to-do type, and I'm a labor person, but that's the common thread is we're both refugees and we have no idea what we're doing here.
So were you both from Skovlin originally and just came over here after the Unity War?
How long ago did you say it was?
A few years ago, I think. Or a year or two ago, I think. So there's still a bit of prejudice between the two countries.
Maybe, Maybe instead of labor, he was maybe it was like a labor quasi-military background where he was used to doing labor but got conscripted for espionage type stuff or sap work.
I could see you being a sapper building traps for those Arcosi, Akarosi. I don't know how to say that.
Gotcha.
Troops coming into your lands.
So I think with that being the case, I would still keep his background as non-military since he didn't really I don't think that defines who he is.
You were more a civilian consultant.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Blackwater.
Cool. So your vice is stress is a resource that Blades in the Dark uses. You use it for a lot of different things, for resisting negative effects that you don't like. I might say, hey, you got stabbed in the gut, take level 3 harm, and you'll say, I don't like that, I want to resist. You'll roll some dice based on your character sheet, and depending on how well you roll is how much stress you. If you roll poorly, you lose more stress to resist that effect, basically. But you resist it either partially or fully based on the game masters say. Another thing that you spend stress for are flashbacks, and we'll get into that a little bit later. And to replenish your stress, your vice. That's how you get the stress back. You go and you indulge your vice. So, excuse me. If you're luxury, then you might spend some times at a spa, or spending times going to expensive opera houses that you can't afford tickets to, and things like that. I noticed, Kent. I noticed that you picked weird, and
the occult stuff.
He's a freak.
So you experiment with strange essences, consort with rogue spirits, or observe bizarre rituals or taboos. So weird can be kind of anything you want, so long as it's weird. A normal person would look at you like, "Wow, that's a little odd."
I thought that went with both my.
I listen to children screaming in the background. It just makes me happy. Ooh, here's a list of names. I'm gonna steal those. I don't know if anybody has the book or the PDF, but page 56 has a list of family names, aliases, looks.
I kind of picked one.
Cool.
In fact, I edited your lurk, lurk sheet already.
Cool. Awesome. So you are Harvest. Nice. Take a look at this. Cool. Looks like you've already gone a little bit further in the character creation process.
I work ahead a little.
I was looking at things earlier, but I hadn't actually filled them out.
You're fine. All right. Kent's still muted, but he might be dealing with children's. So your playbook begins with 3 action dots already placed. So you got that. And you get to add 4 more dots. So put 1 dot in any action that you feel reflects your character's heritage. Put 1 dot in any action that you feel reflects your character's background. And assign 2 more dots anywhere you please. And the max rating is 2.
I don't know anything about the Scovlin people. What would be appropriate for a heritage?
They're like Irish, Scottish, in that general area.
Consort, got it. I can say that's pretty accurate with my background. Alright, background labor. Well, I'll say that's probably wreck. He used demolitions to do things in mines.
So total, you should have 7 stats, 7 dots. And so there's three different categories of stats. There's insight, prowess, and resolve. So to resist items, you'll be rolling those stats, and those stats are how do I explain this? How many different skills you have. So if we look at Harvest's prowess, he's got a 2 prowess because he's got 2 different skills in the prowess line. Pretty much, if you just look at the first column, see how there's a line.
Mm-hmm.
However many dots you have in that first column, that's what your rating is in that skill.
And I'm sorry, what does the rating do again?
That determines how many dice you throw for resistance.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I'm having a late dinner.
No, you're fine, man.
And so let's go ahead and talk about the dice mechanic real quick. There is pretty much what you do is you determine what action you want to use. And let me pull this up. Get the summary. Oh, is that it? Yeah.
That's an interesting way to balance stacking too many points in one attribute.
Mm-hmm.
Instead.
Yep. Okay, so here's how it more or less goes. Game Master talks and he tells you about stuff. And then a player says, hey, I want to do something. And he tells me what he wants to do. Then they choose the action that they want to use to accomplish that. And I set the position and the effect, and we'll get into that a little bit later. And then you can add some bonus dice, and then we roll. So, welcome back, Kemp. I was just talking a little bit about dice mechanics. So 2 dice means you're actually really good at something. That's the best you can be at character creation, asterisk. There's a couple ways to get a little bit higher than that, but that means you're really good at that particular skill. And the way it works is you roll 2 dice and take the highest. A 1 through 3 means you didn't get what you wanted. You fail at the action. A 4 or a 5 means you get what you want, but it's at some cost. Maybe you take harm while doing it. Maybe something else bad happens, like you get disarmed or anything like that. And a 6 means you get what you want, and everything's groovy. So even at 1 die, you're going to succeed half the time. There's also ways to get bonus dice. You can get a die by pushing yourself for 2 stress. You can just give yourself... let me make sure I'm reading this right. So you can gain a dice from a teammate. If somebody's helping you do this action, then they take 1 stress and you get a bonus die. You can push yourself, you take 2 stress, and you gain a die. Or you can take a devil's bargain, and you can take one from your friend, and then either push yourself or take a devil's bargain. And a devil's bargain is something like, yeah, I'll give you a bonus die here, but no matter what happens, this guy's going to remember that you dicked him over, or you might be setting fire to a whole bunch of boats to cause a distraction, and we're rolling for how effective that is. A devil's bargain might be, okay, but one of these boats is owned by a family member of yours, and taking a devil's bargain is completely up to the player. I can't force you to take it. Sometimes it's interesting. And it's not my job to come up with all the devil's bargains. You guys can come up with interesting stuff too. And part of Blades in the Dark is the shared storytelling, and you need to embrace that fact.
Nice.
So most of the time you're going to be getting 4s or 5s. So you're almost always going to be accomplishing what you want, but at some sort of cost to yourself. So you just need to make peace with that. And even if you have 0 dots on something, you can still roll dice. If you have 0 dots, you roll 2 dice and take the lowest. So there's about a 25% chance for you to succeed at your action there. But even at 0 dice, you can have your buddy help you out for 1 die and push yourself for 2. And then, hey, now you're actually rolling some decent dice. So just because you have 0 dice, don't think that means you're worthless. Everybody, all the crew has some basic skills that they can fall back on. All right, so Kent, I don't know if you did this part yet or not, but fill out your character sheet's dots. Where was it? So assign 1 dot for your background, assign 1 dot that you feel reflects your heritage, and then put 2 dots wherever you want, and you can't have more than 2 dots in something.
All right.
And Doug, you good on that too?
For dots?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I got allocated mine.
Ah. Cool.
So, setting question. I'm looking at. I'm placing my friendship and rivalry on the sheet. I don't know if that really matters for what we're doing, but a psychonaut. Could you give me a definition for the setting?
I don't know.
Under the relationships, there's Veldrin, a psychonaut, Stasia, an apothecary, Eckerd, a corpse thief, Jewel, a blood dealer, and Melista, a priestess.
Well, don't go after that Eckerd guy. He's bad news. But a psychonaut, I would guess, is someone similar to a whisper.
Yeah.
But deals more with like delving into people's minds, or I'd give you a lot of leeway if you come up with a good idea for what the heck that is, because I have no idea. I haven't heard of it.
No, that sounds about right to me. Just somebody who messes with the supernatural in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Figure maybe there's there are cultists and stuff. It's established that that's one of the gang types you can be, and there are people who worship old gods. So maybe he accidentally disrupted a ritual that was being held with an explosion at some sort, or at some point. Maybe
Nice.
even completely unbeknownst to him. So this person will show up and he'll be like, "What?"
You're welcome, I guess. Cool. So Kent, doesn't look like you put in your dots for your stats over in the hunt, study, survey, tinker thing.
Not finished reading them yet.
Okay.
He's
Right on. Let's see. And then choose a close friend. So these are some of your friends, and one of them you tick the up arrow, and he's your buddy. And one of them tick him down. He's your rival / enemy.
Reflects my heritage.
What's your demonic tell, Kent?
Lightning crackling in my eyes.
Ooh.
Reflects back.
Yeah, that's not normal.
No, it's fun.
Oh, and one of the things I definitely wanted to do before we started playing is I wanted to go through a sample. Hey, we just here's how you roll up XP.
Did you do equipment while I was gone?
You actually don't have equipment.
Oh, okay.
What you do is before an operation, you pick load, which is either light, normal, or heavy.
Right.
Light, you can blend in with normal, everyday people. Normal, it's obvious that you're a scoundrel and people know that you're you can handle yourself. And heavy means like that guy is on an operation and he's going to go break the law right now. So what you do is this game is all about eliminating the hours and hours worth of planning at the game table. So you just at the start of an operation you pick a load, and then any of your anytime you need something on your gear list, you just tick off that box. So if you're at a normal load, which is 5 boxes, then you say, "Oh yeah, I was wearing armor. I planned for this. I knew I was going to get hit, and I want to reduce some of this harm with armor, so I checked those 2 dots off, and now I only have 3 load to work with for the rest of the job."
Gotcha.
So you actually have everything on your character sheet, and you can gain access to other stuff as well through long-term projects and stuff like that during downtime.
Gotcha. I have a demon as my best friend.
Nice.
Good job.
That'll be
This
fun.
turn out well. Mine is an apothecary.
And I hate those spirit traffickers. Those guys suck.
Those jerks. All right, this will work out. So one of the
I'm
things.
sure it won't.
Well, that's what makes the game fun. Where is gaining XP? Where did it go? Okay, so in your playbook, down beneath your special abilities, there's playbook advancement. So every time you roll a desperate action, mark XP in that action's attribute. So if you're in a real bad spot, anytime you're in a real bad spot, your character can get seriously hurt. But one of the things that also happens during a desperate action is you get to mark XP for that thing. So anytime you have, like, let's say you're in a desperate skirmish, right? When you roll that, then you would mark one. You would tick off one thing next to prowess. That's your XP track for prowess. And then once that fills up, then you get to bump up a skill dot. So anytime you're in a desperate situation, then you get to mark XP for that. Let's see. And at the end of each session, for each item below, mark 1 XP or mark 2 XP if that item occurred multiple times. So for the Whisper, you addressed a challenge with knowledge or arcane power. That's kind of his main way that he gets to gain XP, and everybody else has a different trigger for that. If it happens just once, then you get 1 XP. If it happens multiple times, then you get 2. You expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. So we learned something new about your character, then we get to mark an XP for that. And you struggled with issues from your vice or traumas during this session. Starting out, you don't really have much in the way of trauma. What happens when your stress track fills up? That's like you pick up a new trauma, and that's basically like one of your lives. Once your stress box fills up all the way, then you have to pick up a trauma. You fall out of the rest of the score, but you're fine. You come back with no stress. You go off on some crazy bender and come back refreshed and ready to rock and roll. Except you now have a new trauma.
You're refreshed with a nice trauma.
And then you might pick up cold, where you don't. People don't really. You don't really worry about people and their feelings, and don't listen to pleas of sympathy. So you start becoming more of a sociopath, and each one has a special thing. But trauma is something that you play if you want the XP. If you don't want to play it, you don't have to. That's fine. You can say, "Yeah, I'm haunted," I guess, and then it never comes up. The only way it comes up mechanically is at the end of every score. If you don't spend one of your downtime actions on your vice, then you will lose an amount of stress equal to your trauma level. So if you have 2 traumas, then you'll lose 2 stress. Gain 2 stress if you don't indulge your vice. So there are mechanical negatives in addition to XP positives for picking up traumas. So the way you pick up Playbook advancement is you have to use your XP. That normally there isn't a desperate roll that involves your Playbook. I don't know that there is. Maybe if we were rolling someone's special ability, we might count that. So like if Kent was using his Tempest ability, I'd let him, and it was a desperate situation, then I'd let him either mark a resolve if he was attuning, or Playbook XP for that. And that's kind of characters in a nutshell. So everybody has their dots, everybody has their people. All right. And then we have to create our crew. Let's see here. Is there... Nope, it's not a cheat sheet in there. I should have used some bookmarks in here. Where the hell's crew creation?
And the one that you linked to the Blades in the Dark site, crew creation, is page 12. Choose a crew type, choose an initial reputation on there.
Cool.
So we already have a crew type.
Yep, I just went ahead and say we're going to be shadows. So each of these, each crew has a different gang type, and I'll go ahead and open this up for people. Yeah,
The gang sheet.
yeah, the gang sheet. So you'll see a couple of things. The kind of weird map thing that starts out with layer. That's what's going to be your crew's different businesses and turf that it owns for as it starts expanding across the city. So let's start with a couple of things. Where's money? There's money. So we start with 2 coin. We're tier 0 with stronghold. That's good. So there's 2 types of hold that you have. As soon as you upgrade, then you're in a little bit of turmoil. So as soon as you upgrade your tier to the next tier, you're growing and you're in danger of either slipping back down to your previous tier or hanging on to it as you go back up to as you increase your hold, basically. So you start out 0 strong, and then as you level up to a tier 1 gang, then it drops back down to weak. All right. Choose initial reputation and lair. So what type of scoundrels are you? There's some when people talk about your gang, what's like the one word that kind of comes to mind when they talk about you? There's a few examples in here. We've got ambitious, brutal, daring, honorable, professional, savvy, subtle, and strange.
I think that kind of depends on the personalities of the people in our little gang. Let's see here.
So right now it's pretty much just you 3.
Right. Well, my guy is definitely leans towards creative, non-confrontational solutions.
Same.
And trying to sneak around and not get caught or have to fight his way out. Although I guess he can throw his way out without too much.
I fit right in with that.
You're the heavy, right?
Yeah, match made in heaven.
Just throw a cloak over the guy with lightning eyes.
Well, I mean, Tempest has 2 things. It has the fog cloud and it has the lightning storm. So
Yeah, I can make obscuring mists or blizzards or heavy downpours appear suddenly.
So what were the reputation things again? Where are those?
so it's I don't know if they have a list on the sheet here, but these were some examples: ambitious, brutal, daring, honorable, professional, savvy, subtle, and strange.
I'd say maybe professional or subtle or even strange if people have met them and they're like a bunch of foreigner refugees and some dude who has lightning eyes. I don't know.
Well, I definitely would be on the strange fringe of whatever you guys land on. That's my take on.
Sure.
But I'm only one person.
I like professional and I like subtle.
I feel maybe professional over subtle. So here's the thing. My guy can blow things up, right? He's a demolitions person. But the special ability I chose is Saboteur, which is when you use Wreck, the skill for blowing things up, the work is much quieter than it should be, and the damage is hidden from casual inspection.
Okay.
So I think that could still go either way. Doesn't mean it has to, but it can.
And this is just kind of what your gang is known for right now. You can get a new reputation, and you might get the reputation Crazy Bastards, or...
I think we should go professional
Professional, yeah.
to start.
Professional to start?
We can do subtle. It's just not our favorite. At least at the, maybe start subtle and then the end is with a bang. But we still get the job done.
All right. So professional, you get the job done. All right, let's talk about where the crew make its lair and which district it calls home. This it really isn't necessary to get the game rolling, but if you want to spend a little time thinking about that, we can. I'm going to flip us over to Duskwall. Bloop.
I did look at this earlier. Let's see.
So right now we're... Oops, no.
6 towers, a formerly rich district now worn down and dilapidated. The night market. There's a lot of underground trade. Probably not Crow's Foot because it's mostly ruled by gangs.
The night market fits my vice. So if not the night market, then something next to it or near it.
Let's see.
Yeah, everything in the city is pretty easy to get to. I mean,
I'm just saying.
we're not going to worry about this game is a lot of is one of its main tenets is basically skipping over all the boring BS. So we don't have to worry about, oh, where are you guys at? You're in Crow's Foot. Oh, you want to go to a night market? Well, let's see how we're going to get there. It doesn't care. It's like, okay, boom, you arrive at night market, and there's
Night market sounds cool. There's a rail station. Always wanted to blow up a rail station. Just kidding.
I take back the subtle.
Let's see. I'll read you a little bit about night market and see if you this makes you feel better. Okay. Night market is a district dominated by commerce. Situated near Gaddock Rail Station, night market receives the bulk of saleable goods from the cargo trains that travel across the Imperium, bringing the exotic and rare to Duskwall. The citizens that call night market home constitute a new class of elites. Wealthy people who are not of noble descent, but nevertheless claim land, status, and power without titles. So this is like the start of the merchant class, I guess. And the district has been taken over by new construction, introducing lavish private townhouses with all of the modern advances for the elites that can afford them. So it has wealth 3, security and safety 3, criminal influence 2, and occult influence 1.
Sounds fine to me.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we need to discuss like what exactly your core layer is.
I don't feel like we would. Well, one of us is a noble. I don't know if that means he's rich, but
No, former noble refugee.
gotcha.
I want to look rich, but
I am very not.
yeah.
So
And I'm
Denmark is
thinking
the
kind of just based on some of the story and background. I'm not flaunting the fact that I'm a noble because lots of those people died.
Yep. Okay, let's see here.
I feel like, given that fact, they mostly want to stay out of the limelight. They like to schmooze, but they probably wouldn't want people to be able to find them easily.
Yeah, and
Although
there's some underground tunnels and stuff like that. So, a couple places I can think of off the top of my... What the hell, man? couple of things I can think of off the top of my head are maybe there are run-down, dilapidated buildings. Maybe there's some old construction where you guys are holed up in an abandoned building, or maybe you're operating out of the back room of some shop. You're paying a shopkeeper a little extra money so that you can use one of his rooms as an office. Maybe there's an abandoned rail car that's rusted tight to its tracks, and that's where you guys somewhere underground, and that's where you guys are calling your HQ.
I would probably lean towards something either, if not underground itself, underground adjacent, because he makes explosives and would probably need to test things out occasionally without drawing too much attention.
Sure. So, you guys talk about that, or we can skip it for now.
Akin to what Doug said, underground is fine.
I mean, they got the rail lines coming through there, so if we want to say it's maybe an old abandoned railway area, or no, station adjacent.
Yeah, we can say there was an old train station that suffered some sort of calamity. You guys weren't involved in it.
Once you...
And the new station is kind of built on top of that rubble, but there's still some stuff that's kind of not claimed yet.
Yeah, I know you said it's not really persnickety about transport and stuff, but I like the idea of, for story purposes, being close to a transport hub.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we are in Night Market then. Let me open up a gang sheet.
Night Market.
So we are in Night Market, and just some underground tunnels near the
Sure.
near the train station. Cool. All right. Establish your hunting grounds. Your crew is brand new, but you've chosen some small part of a district as your hunting grounds. This is the area that you usually target for your scores, and you know it well. All right, so it doesn't have to be in Night Market. Crow's Foot might be a good choice, since that's where I was going to base this this story, this one shot on. Because right now Crow's Foot is about to go into some turmoil. There's going to be a war. Some people are going to die. Some places are going to have owners. Then this thing's going to happen. They're not going to have an owner for a little bit. And so you guys can move in and take that stuff. So your hunting grounds are kind of where you operate, where you go on jobs, and kind of what your specialty is.
I'm fine with Crow's Foot. That sounds good.
And what this gets you is when you prepare to execute an operation of your preferred type on your hunting grounds, you get +1d to any gather information rolls and a free additional downtime activity to contribute to that operation. So we haven't started a score yet and haven't talked about downtime activities yet, but basically it gives you a bonus for the setup and how you get into the score. So you have these hunting grounds, but the city is divided among larger, stronger factions. The GM will tell you which faction claims the area when you decide how to deal with them. So right now there's 3 factions there that it could belong to. Who do you want this to have belonged to? Do you want it to belong to the Crows, the Lampblacks, or the Red Sashes?
What was the ownership of specifically? I'm sorry.
The hunting grounds, like you say, hey, this is where we're going to start operating. Somebody else already owns that, so you're operating in their territory.
I don't know. I feel like my guy wouldn't want to piss off the Lampblacks because they're ex-coal miners, and he gets that.
Does he? Was he a coal miner?
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
Lampblacks.
Good with the explosives. I mean, that could be it, though. If you guys want to do Lampblacks, then he could be having to strike off on his own.
Well, here's the thing. It could be it depends on what we decide for this next bit. All right, so
Explosive battle.
We're taking it from the Lampblacks. we can either pay them off, give them 1 coin in exchange for giving you room to work. So you pay them off and say, hey, we'd like to start operating here, if that's cool. Or you can pay the faction 2 coin as a show of respect, and then you gain +1 status with them. Or you can keep your money, give them the finger, and take -1 status with that faction and say, this is where we're operating, deal with it.
What else can we use coin for?
You can use coin for extra downtime actions, for bribing officials, for they can be used in flashbacks to like get you things like I need to get the plans for this building or something like that. You might use them to get out of a sticky situation, like, hey, we just gave the lampblacks the finger, and now we're surrounded by their gang. We might just say, hey, let us pay you a coin, and now we'll call it square.
Gotcha. And what does status do for us?
At 0, you're neutral. At 1, they're friendly with you. They won't go a real far way out of their way to help you. But let me see. But they definitely won't harm you.
Gotcha.
And then at 3, they're an ally. They'll go to bat for you. They might not take the fall for one of your operations, but they could set somebody else up to take the fall for you.
Sure. What do you think, guys? Are we respectable? Are we bad boys?
Right out of the gate, I don't know what we are.
Well, right now, you're professional.
If we're professional, then we probably paid them at least 1 coin.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Alrighty.
I feel like 1 coin to operate is good, but then we also don't have ties to that faction.
So yeah, +1 is helpful. This faction will help you if it causes no problems or significant cost for them, and they expect the same from you. +2 is friendly. This faction will help you if it doesn't create serious problems for them. And 3 is allies. This faction will help you even if it's not in their best interest to do so, and they expect the same from you.
I'm cool with a wash, unless anybody wants to lobby for spending the 2nd coin.
I don't want to spend the extra coin currently.
Cool. And if we change our minds a little bit later, then we can.
We can always pay him once the game starts.
Yeah. Let's see. Where'd it go? Almost there. So we established our hunting grounds, and we paid them 1 coin. Let me take the coin off the gang sheet. Bloop. And now...
My coin!
So shadows, what are your... Where does it say your types of operations that you're good at? Hunting grounds. Burglary, espionage, robbery, or sabotage.
Yes.
So you can do all of these things, but for your hunting ground, we are choosing one of these things in Crow's Foot. So do you burgle? Do you burgle in Crow's Foot? Do you spy in Crow's Foot? Do you rob people in Crow's Foot? Or do you sabotage?
Can sabotage include ways of interference that aren't necessarily blowing things up?
Sure.
That seems the most appropriate to me.
Yeah.
Because we can get in, get out, whether it's social sabotage, dropping rumors. That seems like something that Andrew's character would be good at.
Yeah, we break things, but it doesn't necessarily have to be we destroy things.
There you go. We're breaking buildings and hearts in equal measure.
Cool. So
And,
anytime you're on a sabotage mission in Crow's Foot, then you'll be getting +1D to your engagement roll.
Ken, what is your? Oh my God, you picked Aldo. I swear to God, I wrote down Aldo as my character name at first. I think I changed it. Oh, that's crazy.
I don't understand.
Sorry, I spaced out because I was looking at Andrew's character sheet because it had the same name as what I wrote on mine.
And we were like originally from the same area.
Maybe I'm also Aldo.
Aldo's very common in Skovlaw. Everybody knows
Yeah.
that.
That's funny. Sorry.
My family had many Aldos, and you obviously have named after one of them. I'm not doing German. No.
I'm going to say, are you German again?
Call it force of habit.
I was gonna do a Russian voice, but I don't know if it matters or not. So
It's too close for me.
that's fair. Let's see. So Kent, your guy is good at studying for information, finesse, attune, and consort. Yeah, I think we got we got a lot of social schmoozing.
Consort with all my demonic buddies.
That's fair.
Because he got friends on the other side.
I love that song. That became one of my favorite Disney villain songs. I got friends on the
So we got
other side.
Aldo the Lurk, Frank the Whisper, and you were a leech.
Excuse me, it's Frank Jones. Use both his names, sir.
My bad.
I'm working on my character name still.
Cool. Feel free
I'll
to
have-
just edit that and move it up to the top.
Okay.
And let's see. Okay, so we paid 1 coin. Now we get to choose a special ability for our gang.
Teleportation.
Let's choose from the special abilities from the sheet.
Oh,
Um,
that's a little bit more precise.
Everyone steals. Everybody gets +1 action to either prowl, finesse, or tinker, up to a max rating of 3, and you don't all have to choose the same dot. Let's see. Ghost echoes from weird experience or occult ritual. You guys can read this, right?
You're saying we don't all have to choose the same thing?
No. I'm saying if we chose everyone steals, then not everybody would have to choose prowl for their ability dot. Like
Got you.
you could
Okay.
choose prowl, and someone else could choose finesse.
Got you.
But we'd have to choose everybody steals to get it.
Yeah.
Do you guys like Clank or Clatter better as an alias for my guy?
Clank is a cartoon character, isn't it? Ratchet.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank. I mean, it's fine.
I like
Harvest
Clank.
is a comic book character.
I'll stick with Clank.
Well,
That's-
I want to be Dr. Manhattan then. I changed my name.
I will have to tell you the story about the goblin named Clank. I was playing in a drow game, and this goblin had kept stealing from these other drow, and he hadn't got caught, and he kept doing like really ballsy stuff. So I started calling him Clank because of his brass balls.
That's fun.
Should we get Slippery, since you guys are both stealthy Stealthensteins? I don't know what entanglement is, but rolling twice and keeping the best one sounds good.
So
And for reducing heat, because we're professional. Or synchronized. When we perform a group action, we can count multiple 6s as a critical success.
Like our acapella singing.
That's. I mean, I didn't want to ruin the surprise, but
hello.
We've been practicing. We can't wait.
God.
Our big YouTube debut.
Yeah, so I think either synchronized, slippery, or maybe pack rats.
I like pack rats because it's funny,
I think it's funny, but yeah.
but slippery sounds better. If we're professionals, we don't want people to be on to us, man.
That's true.
So entanglements happen. Let me look at like the game flow is kind of cyclical. So what happens is we start out with free play, go through any role playing scenes that we want to do, and then we figure out, all right, this is what we want to do for our score. We either want to go out and claim one of these territory pieces on our sheet, or we want to go rob those guys, or piss in their Wheaties, or whatever. So then we do the engagement roll, and then we play the session, and we do the heist or whatever. And then after that is downtime, which comes with payoff if you succeeded at your score. Heat, which basically there's very few operations that are just dead quiet and everything goes smooth. That doesn't happen in this game very often. So you'll generate some heat from the cops, and then you roll entanglements. And entanglements are kind of an abstract way. It's like, we don't keep up with every loan you make, or every guy you piss off, or every person that you kill. This entanglement roll is kind of an abstract thing to say. Hey, and after the game, this is what happened to kind of kick you while you're down. Let's see.
Now, for us, man, we have to roll twice and take the best one. The 1 or the 2.
Yay.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find the stupid entanglement rolls.
Entanglement.
And just give you some for instances. Basically, it just puts you in a bad situation, and you might use coin to get out of it, or something like that.
Doodle-doo.
Apparently, we have a flash deal.
Flash deal.
Shut up! I don't care.
But what a savings.
Entanglements, page 150.
Need about 150.
All right, so depending on how much heat you have, let's say things went pretty smoothly and you're at the 0 to 3 rate. We're going to roll some dice, and based on your wanted level. So right now your wanted level is 0, so we're going to roll 2 dice and take the lowest. 1 through 3 is gang trouble or the usual suspects. 4 and 5 is rivals or unquiet dead, and 6 is cooperation. So basically, let's look at an unquiet dead just for fun. A rogue spirit is drawn to you. Perhaps it's a past victim. Acquire the services of a whisper or railjack to attempt to destroy or banish it, or deal with it yourself. They can hire an NPC by using the acquire asset downtime activity. Roll the NPC's quality level as a fortune roll to see how well they deal with the spirit. So basically just one more little gotcha for the night to deal with.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
All right, that will be slippery for now, and if we don't like it, we'll change it.
Oops.
Oops.
Sorry, I clicked at the same time.
And so, bam. Oh! I think that's... Oh, wait, no, now I got to select upgrades. I think we get 4? Maybe I'm crazy.
Maybe. Vice. He's indulged his vice.
No.
I was trying to clear out a little stress. I was just talking to one of my kids.
It's not working.
You told me it was going to.
I didn't do that. Alright, let's see here. Choose a special ability. Did that. Choose assign crew upgrades. So, an upgrade is a valuable asset, blah, blah, blah. Each crew type has 2 pre-selected upgrades that suit the crew. Okay, so we have prowess and hidden. So you have a hidden layer, so people don't know where it's at, and prowess. Let's see. And I think prowess training facilities means that when you take the training downtime action, then you get to tick 2 XP boxes instead. And then you get to choose 2 more. So you get 2 more. Normally, when you train an XP track, you just mark 1 if you're spending a downtime activity. This lets you tick it twice. Okay, so, and then you get 2 additional upgrades. One faction helped you get an upgrade. They like you, and you get +1 status with them. At your option, spend +1 coin to repay their kindness and take +2 status with them. And one faction you screwed over when you got that upgrade. They don't like you. You get -2 status with them. At your option, spend 1 coin to mollify them and take -1 status with them instead. So we get 2 more upgrades, and one person we made happy doing this and one person we made sad doing this. And it doesn't have to be the lamp blacks and the red sashes. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. If you're wanting to work for the lamp blacks, let's see.
I see the options listed for stuff, but I don't know if there are explanations.
Okay, so it looks like steady would take 3 boxes, so we can't get that. So thief rigging is 2 free load of tools or gear. This is like some harnesses and stuff that have give you the ability to take a few more tools into battle. Let's see. Underground maps and passkeys. Elite rooks. Rooks are, I think skulks are the sneak types, and rooks are kind of the thugs. And basically those are gangs.
Is everything okay over there?
Let's see. Carriage, boat, quarters. If you don't have quarters, then you're just kind of sleeping out where you can find room. It's not secure, and I might do things like steal your money or be a jerk to you if you don't have quarters yet. Workshop lets you do things like work on different things like bombs or weird oils, or a machine shop for different things. You guys just talking about it made me think that you might want a workshop.
That sounds like something that my guy would be interested in.
I think it also counts for things like arcane study and stuff too.
I can see that helping.
And how many of these do we get? We get 2?
You get 2.
Okay.
And one of them, somebody helped you get it. Who would you like that to be?
What do you guys want to do? You want to stack with one of the factions?
You know, I've got a blue coat friend, and maybe that's who helped us.
And who are the blue coats?
I'm assuming they're cops.
The blue coats are they are cops, but they're kind of run like a gang. They are corrupt, and they have an extortion racket and lots of businesses just across the town. They are responsible for breaking down gang hideouts and arresting people. But who else? It's not the blue coats. It's the inspectors. They're the people that gather the evidence, and they are kind of known for being honorable and very, very infrequently bought.
Well, I don't like the sound of them at all.
And the blue coat, like the inspectors, are part of the blue coats, or that's a separate entity?
They're separate entity.
Gotcha.
They're a different faction, and both of those factions are tier 3 factions, which are kind of well above your station.
Gotcha. Does that mean we couldn't make it one of those?
No,
or-
you can make it one of those.
So conceptually, then, sit on this for a while. We have a blue coat who catches me breaking in somewhere, and is like, "You could do so much better with the right tools," and we get access to it that way.
I like that. Maybe we've taken jobs for them on the down low in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Disrupt these the gang territories and stuff.
And then maybe, let's see what else. And maybe they had you make some stuff that you're good at wrecking with, and they sent you on a job already, and you you wrecked some stuff, and in the process stole a different upgrade. Which upgrade did you steal from a different gang?
Is that also under lair specifically?
Crew upgrades or layer. You could also do quality upgrade to like tools or implements or something like that.
Gotcha. So we stole something from another group.
Yeah, you made somebody else mad. And if you look at the faction sheet, I'll show
Crew
this to Brad.
upgrades.
There's I recommend making some tier 1 factions upset at you instead of a tier 3 faction happy with you.
Gotcha. And what's the hold mean?
The hold means whether or not they're a solid 2, like a 2S means they have a strong hold on tier 2. If it's a weak hold, either they just went to war or they just recently upgraded and they have a weak hold on their territory, so they're kind of vulnerable.
Okay.
Let's steal a vault.
What the vault does is it lets you store more coin, more stash. If you look down at the coin over to the left,
So it might not be that useful for us, technically.
yeah, not for a one shot.
No.
Some quality items might be good. A gang might be good. The thief rigging's nice. Underground maps and passkeys is kind of cool.
I mean, if we're professionals and we try to avoid confrontation, then I think thief rigging makes sense to get loads of tools or gear. The underground maps and passkeys definitely sound good for infiltration. Higher quality tools, documents, anything like that.
Well, we need some leadership, so somebody pick some.
Let's do the higher quality tools documents.
Do we get 2 of them?
You get one of those. So
Tools?
let's go
Tools.
tools. Let's
Tools.
go tools.
Tools.
So pretty much what that means is like when you're a tier 0 gang, your tools are considered 1 tier higher. So you have better tools for the job.
Cool.
All right. So, and who did we steal these tools from? Let's see.
Let's look at the faction sheet.
The Lampblacks.
Oh, the city council.
Tier 5 gear gang. All right.
Let's see, all right. So if we're looking at tier 1 stuff,
Tier 1, tier 2.
Let's do the
Underworld.
Foghounds.
the Foghound sounds interesting.
All right.
Yeah.
Foghorn Leghorn's their leader.
Exactly.
Well, he needs a lesson.
I say, don't you be stealing from me no more, boy.
Okay. So the Foghounds are a bunch of smugglers. All right.
That's perfect. That makes sense then.
Let's see. They have an underground dock. Let's see. A crew of rough smugglers looking for a patron. So they're looking They're kind of new on the scene. They have a few places that they smuggle in and out of town through the canals. And let's see. They're stationed in the north. And right now they're looking for a patron. And you just you knocked over one of their supplies. So let's see. We have made the foghorns. We're at -2 with them. We're not quite at war, but they don't like you. So they're smugglers who don't care for you. You have... Do you want to pay them 1 coin so that they're not at -2, or are we going to keep them at -2?
Yeah, keep them at -2.
Yeah, forget those guys. Then we have the blue coats that we're friendly with. Do you want to pay 1 coin? Oh, what the heck happened there? Stop it. Would you like to pay the blue coats 1 coin to make them
Maybe we should keep our last coin. Just in case.
cool?
For when we need it. So I don't think it's a just in case.
I mean, I thought you could hold on to the coin and...
Yeah, he was saying like it's definitely going to get used.
Yeah.
Keep it for when we need it after the first roll of the game.
All right, so here's what the faction sheet looks like. We got the crows, lampblacks, and red sashes are all at 0. The foghounds are at -2, and the blue coats are at 1. And we have 1 coin left. Does that sound right?
Yep, sounds good to me.
Cool. And I think that's the last bit of crew creation. Oh, choose a favorite contact. Which one of these contacts is your favorite? We have Dowler, an explorer, LaRose, a blue coat, Amancio, a deal broker, Fitz, a collector.
Probably not Fitz. That's like the same name of the guy I hate. Oh no, I hate Flint.
Adelaide Froeg, a noble, Rigney, a tavern owner. Or you can make up your own, I don't care.
I feel like La Rose or Amancio sounds the most correct. Maybe Adelaide Freg.
I like the deal broker because we need jobs.
That sounds good to me.
That works.
So deal broker? Bam.
Yep.
I would choose to pronounce his name Amancio. I am Amancio.
Hey! Well, cool. I think that's everything. And one last thing. One of these gangs is going to hire you to go attack another gang. So, do you want to be working for the crows, the lampblacks, or the red sash? Or do you want to work for the red... Would you like to work for the red sashes or the lampblacks?
Well, we're working in Lampblack territory, and we've paid them money to do so.
We might as well
Makes
keep
sense
that
to
relationship.
work for them, right?
Yeah. Keep them happy with us.
Cool.
Good job.
Well,
For now.
Yeah, for now.
that's I think that's everything. So.